To better understand the contextual retriever concept, we will review together the fourth contextual retriever notebook. We will load a complex dataset and split the document into chunks, exactly like what we did in the previous notebook, and then we will generate the context sentence and append it to the chunks. We will use the same visual improvements that we did before, and we'll suppress the warnings to keep the notebook clean. Let's load the dataset. This is the same dataset that we loaded before from the archive with AI papers. And we will split the documents into chunks using the OpenAI encoder. This is exactly what we did in the previous notebook. It will take a couple of seconds. And now we have the first document chunks. Let's see the text of the first chunk. And now we want to generate the context sentence for each one of the chunks from this document. We will use Anthropic here. There are a few reasons for that. First, because you can use a different LLM, you can mix and match the LLMs based on the use case, the cost, the latency, whatever are the requirements for each one of the steps. Please remember that the enrichment that we do for the chunks here, based on the context, is a pre-process. It's running on the documents before we load them into the index, and they have no impact on the latency for the retrieval part. So we can use a model which is a bit slower as long as it is better. So this is the prompt we're going to give Claude. So we are generating the document part. Claude likes this XML tag, so we know where the document starts and ends, and the same regarding the chunk when it starts and ends. And here we have the actual prompt. Please give a short, succinct context to situate this chunk within the overall document for the purpose of improving such retrieval of the chunk. Please answer only with a succinct context and nothing else. And here we have the actual call. We're calling as the user. We're providing the document context and the chunk context. And the next reason why we're going to use Claude for that, Claude provides this prompt caching option. It's still in beta. It is very powerful, as it is giving you the option to load the document once and generate the context for each one of the chunks without sending the document again and again. It will save us on time and on cost. So the prompt caching is a very powerful option for this specific contextual enrichment step. So let's see the first chunk context. Here is the output. So after we send the above text, this long set of text to the LLM, gives us this chunk, introduce, mixtral, and so on. So it gives us a nice summary of this chunk in the context of the document. We can do that for another chunk. We'll use the sixth chunk here. And when we print it, we see that this chunk describes the architecture details, especially the sparse mixture of experts, and so on. So now we can apply this logic to all of our chunks of this document. So we're going to go over all the chunks. We're going to create the chunk text by joining all the different parts of it. And then we're going to call the situate context above. And once we have this output, we can append the chunk text and the contextualized text together into the text part of our chunk. Let's run it. It will take a few minutes to run. If you remember, we are basically calling a remote endpoint. It is using the prompt caching, but still every call is sequential. Okay, so it took a bit more than 1 minute. This is for one document. If we have 2,000 documents, it will take a bit longer. But nevertheless, this is a pre-process. We can run it for a couple of hours. As long as we know that our index now is richer using the context, we know that we have a better retrieval performance. So now we can see the outputs, the chunks. So this is the text, and here for each one of the chunks, we append the context here and here. So now we can take all the enriched chunks and load them into our vector database using any type of encoder we like.